In this video, we're going to look at the idea that Albert's voice is positioned as the voice of the dispossessed. To understand this idea and to appreciate this idea in its fullness, you need to revise some contextual details for One Night the Moon. So I'd encourage you to look over the following slides, and you need to take notes on these slides using the questions in the document provided alongside this video. Following the song, "This Land is Mine, This Land is Me," we see Albert isolated in the landscape. A long shot shows him alone, walking into the distance. We have learnt in the scene prior that this is Albert's land. He knows the land better than any of the men in the search party. Despite this, he is isolated and marginalised during the important search. We will see the way that the filmmaker, Rachel Perkins, illustrates the idea that Albert knows the land better than anyone else as the scene progresses. The following few moments depict long shots of the landscape, and it really reflects Rachel Perkins' aim to make the landscape a central feature and almost a character of the film. Now, read the extract in front of you on your screens, which is also provided on your Word documents, and think about how the two different relationships with the land are presented. Albert's relationship with the land versus Jim and the other farmer's relationship with the land. Try to use language such as diegetic and non-diegetic sound to describe their differences. Some things you should consider in this scene include the use of fade to white with a shot of the sun. Secondly, the introduction of drums and Celtic music that shift the scene from focusing on Albert to focusing on Jim. You might think about how the music complements the way the men are acting and reacting in the landscape. Also, you might think about the use of the sound bridge, which connects the two scenes. Also, you might consider why Perkins is constantly moving from one perspective of the landscape to another. How does this juxtaposition emphasize Jim and Albert's distinctive voices? Amongst these transition shots, we see long shots of the land and gathering clouds. It seems to me that this undermines the men's attempts to conquer the land and creates a sense of foreboding. Perkins is depicting the land as vast, powerful, and indifferent to the desires of the men whose efforts appear to be futile. This is really reinforced in their small shapes amongst a large landscape, created by the use of long shot. The positioning of the men in one line as well, alongside the high tempo of the Celtic music, could be reflective of the European attempt to subdue or dominate the land rather than understand it. You'll see the way that they walk in one straight line, and they walk without necessarily clear purpose or direction or understanding of the land. In this subtle shot, we see the beginning of Rose's frustration and doubt about Jim's approach to finding their daughter. It's significant that she's positioned behind the window, within the domestic sphere, separated from the rescue attempts to find the daughter. I want you to take notice how Rose's character gradually moves out of the domestic fear as her frustration builds. She moves from within the home to the veranda and finally out to look for Albert.
What'd you do?
Dad!
They're going the wrong way.
In this scene, silence is incredibly powerful. Albert does not answer his wife's question, "What are you doing home?" Rather, he responds with a statement, "They're going the wrong way." I want you to think about why Perkins has chosen not to give Albert a response here. What does it suggest about his voice and his powerlessness to change the current situation? In this final scene, I want you to focus on Rose's character and how we see visually Perkins showing that her frustration and her fear is building. Ultimately, Rose's character is going to be an important shift in the film from separation to reconciliation and connection. To finish with, I want you to consolidate the ideas that we've looked at in this video, and I also want you to draw on your knowledge of the prior scene, the song "This Land Is Mine, This Land Is Me." I want you to use this information to compose one paragraph responding to your own choice of question on the final page of the activity book.